Morning investors, hope you all are doing great. So in the previous video we talked about this fund, SBI Dynamic Asset Allocation Active Fund of Funds. It was a new fund offering. Today we are going to talk about a debt fund. So we will all continue line by line, first debt then hybrid, and we will go on. I have 5 companies, but before we start this video, today we are going to talk about SBI Long Duration Fund. But before we start this video, let me introduce myself. I am MD Imtiaz Alam and I am a registered mutual fund distributor and an IRDA licensed insurance advisor. So if you want any help regarding mutual funds or insurance, you could contact me in my given number or my email ID, which is in the description box. So let's begin this video. Today we are going to talk about SBI Long Duration Funds. At first, let's see who is this fund for. This is a long-term capital appreciation fund, or it is for capital growth. It is suitable for someone who is looking for long-term growth, let's say for more than 3 years. Minimum initial lump sum amount, if you want to invest in lump sum like one time, so you need to invest minimum of 5,000 rupees, or if you want to invest for, let's say, 500 rupees, let's say for monthly investments or SIP, then you need to invest a minimum of 500 rupees. The age of this fund is only 2 years. So let's start the video and see what are the objectives of this fund and how it's oriented. So it is SBI Long Duration Fund. It is a debt fund and it is an open-ended fund. So you can invest anytime whenever you want it. So let's see what is the scheme objective of this fund. The investment objective of this fund is to generate returns by investing in debt and money market instruments such that the maturity duration of the scheme portfolio is greater than 7 years. However, there can be no assurance or guarantee that the investment objective of the scheme would be achieved. So what this fund does is, whenever you invest your money in this fund invests money in debt and money market instruments. So compared to equity, it is less risky, but then we have less returns for this fund. So if we see returns for regular growth, this fund has a return of 8.41%. This fund was launched on 12th December 2022. So from that period of time, the average return, it was 8.41%. In the last 1 year, it gave a return of 6.39%. In the last 3 years, there were no returns because the age of this fund is 2 years. So we cannot calculate that. And last 5 years also no returns. As of 31st August 2025, the amount under the asset under management of this fund is mutual fund is 2,542.8 crores. If we see the exit load, it is nil. So you do not need to pay any exit load for this fund. I have already told you the minimum lump sum amount for this fund is 5,000 rupees, and additional if you want to invest in lump sum, again after that you could invest a minimum of 1,000 rupees or more, and a minimum SIP amount is 500 rupees, but here due to some problem it shows 0. If we see the historical NAV of this fund, you could see that there is not much movement in this fund for the last 3 years. Let's see, so constant. There has been ups and downs, but it is not that much as compared to equity. Let's see the riskometer of this fund. This riskometer lets us understand that if this fund is of a great risk or of low risk. In benchmark, if we see, benchmark riskometer is moderate. So it is neither very high risk or neither very low risk. And the riskometer for this fund is also moderate. So it goes on and on with the index or with whatever the benchmark is. So if we see the benchmark is 3 index, or if we see 3 index, additional benchmark is CRISIL 10-year credit index. So let's go down and let's see some of the objectives of this fund. The fund invests a minimum of 80% in large cap stocks. It is not for this fund actually, it is for SBI Mutual Fund. That SBI Mutual Fund actually invests 80% in large cap stocks. Investment objective, we already told you that it only invests money in debt and money market instruments to give you good returns, but at a low risk. Investment strategy, if we see, SBI Long Duration Fund will invest its corpus in debt and money market instruments in line with investment objective to provide attractive risk-adjusted returns to its investors through active management of credit risk and interest rates in its portfolio. The scheme aims to generate returns through investment in long-term bonds. The scheme being open-ended, some portion of the portfolio may be invested in money market instruments to meet the liquidity requirements. So what the fund does is it invests in debt and money market instruments. It also invests in long-term bonds, and some portion of this fund is also invested in money market instruments to provide liquidity to this fund. If we see who is the fund manager of this fund, it is Mr. Ortendu Bhattacharya. Let's see who is Mr. Ortendu Bhattacharya. Mr. Ortendu Bhattacharya joined SBI Mutual Funds in April 2019. He has over 11 years of experience in finance sector. Prior to joining SBI Mutual Fund, he was previously associated with foreign entities ICICI Bank Limited from 2014 to 2019. Primarily involved in trading in money market and short-term corporate bonds in Citibank. And after that, before that, he was in Citibank from April 2010 to 2013. Principally handled currency and trade sales, managing this fund since July 2025. So Ortendu Bhattacharya has a lot of experience. He has been in ICICI Bank, and before that he was in Citibank. So he has a lot of experience in this field, we could say that. Let's see the portfolio breakup of this fund. So where is the money invested in this fund? So if we see at the holdings, so Government of India has 89.38% of whatever the amount is in the fund. So it is invested there. And where is the other fund? And there are close to 10.62% of cash and cash equivalents. So the 10% is in cash and rest 89 or 90% which is with Government of India. So you could say it is a secure fund. Now let's see what are the sectors in which it invests. It invests in sovereign, or we could say sovereign gold bonds, and cash and cash equivalent and others is 10.60%, something like that. So we could say it is a very risk-free fund or credit risk-free fund. So that is good, but on the same time, if you see that there is no good return in this fund, but see, every time we need not chase returns. Sometimes we need to chase stability with our funds. So if we see the compound annualized growth rate CAGR of this fund, so SBI Long Duration Fund, 1 year CAGR is 6.39%. Since inception it is 8.41%. The benchmark has a good CAGR of 8.1%. So it is actually underperforming the benchmark, and the additional benchmark which is price 10-year gilt index also has a CAGR of 9.88%. So it is also underperforming the benchmark, additional benchmark. So now we could say that there is a potential for this fund to grow. And current value of standard investment of 10,000, let's say you invested 10,000 in this fund before 1 year, then you would have 10,639 rupees. And since inception, if you invested in like 2022, then you would have close to 12,348 rupees. And if you again invested that money, but not in this fund, or you could invest it in the benchmark, then you would have like 10,810 rupees. And if you had invested it in the additional benchmark, that is price 10-year gilt index, you would have 10,988 rupees. So this fund is certainly underperforming the benchmark. So there is a chance of recovery. And then we have other fund documents. I will give you the fund document in the description, or whatever. If you need it, you could comment it. I will give it there. The expense ratio of this fund is close to 0.67%, so not that much. It's good actually. So that was all about this fund. If you want to invest in this fund, so this fund is not for returns. Let me clear it again. This fund is made for someone who is choosing stability or who wants long-term growth, capital growth, but with low risk. This fund is for low risk. You could invest, let's say you got something from your pension, you could invest it here, or you have some money, but you don't want to take risk, but you want returns more than your bank or your FD or any other thing, then you could invest it here. I will give my contact number and email ID in the description box. You could contact me there. Let me repeat my mobile number here. So my mobile number is 736308480. My name is MD Imtiaz Alam. I am an MP registered mutual fund distributor and an IRDA licensed insurance advisor. So if you need any help regarding this too, you could contact me. That was all for today's video. If you want to invest, you could contact me. Thanks for watching this video.